second. All right. I don't see Tracy on, Deborah.
I was just speaking with her.
Once I do, I'll bring her over. Good
Okay.
evening, everybody. My name is Allison Foss, and I am the Executive Director of the Myasthenia Gravis Association. We are so happy that you're joining us this evening for adaptive yoga. We have a very special guest here who's going to lead that in just a second, but just a couple of announcements. If you're new here and you need any new patient resources, please be sure to email our office at info@mgakc.org, and we will get those to you right away. Secondly, you'll get a survey following tonight's presentation, and we'd love your feedback. So check your email. Also in the email, it will list the virtual opportunities for March, and we hope that you'll find another opportunity to connect with us. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Deborah Vick. Deborah is an individual living with myasthenia gravis, and she and her team are going to lead us in adaptive yoga this evening. Deborah, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you, Allison. I appreciate you having us here as the guest. There is a team of us working together with Breathe, Move, Thrive Yoga for everybody. And I want to pause for a second and highlight something that I was just sharing with you, that this came about because of my advocacy work with myasthenia gravis, because I answered a survey, because I spoke my experiences. But most of all, this adaptive yoga came about because as one who's been bedridden for the good part of the last year, I strive to find an adaptive way that I can still remain to be active. I had this idea after taking a course about teaching adaptive yoga to people with myasthenia gravis. I reached out to NMD Pharma, and Vera, their medical director, signed on eagerly to join with me, where we'll show yoga from both the perspective of somebody in a wheelchair and somebody traditional yoga styles. Vera, before we go into our discussion about adaptive yoga and breath work, I want to give the microphone over to you for a second.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Deborah, for giving an opportunity to be here today. Little disclaimer, it's 1:30 in the morning. That's where I am. I'm in Europe, so it's true, as Deborah mentioned, we embarked on this journey together to bring a possibility to move, to share our passion for movement with all of you. And it's true, it's how we are in the beginning of the journey. We're trying to find the best way on giving options, on being as much inclusive as possible. So let's see how it works for both of us today and for the community. I hope this sound is okay, because I'm seeing Deborah's face and I don't know whether it's because of my sound or for different reasons. Just enjoy the moment. For me, this is really, it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be part of this journey, to trying to bring help, trying to bring the possibility to move a little bit more, to breathe a little bit more, to embrace life every day a little bit more together.
Thank you, and that was so beautifully expressed. Allison, I did want to know, Tracy is in the audience. Tracy helps facilitate discussions, so if there are questions, you put in the Q&A. Tracy will share there with us. And with that, I'd like to switch a moment in speed. I'd like to start today's session with alternate nostril breathing. We're going to do a few moments of breath work. And I know some people may have difficulty lifting up their arm. to hold it for alternate nostril breathing. Well, let me first explain. Let me turn away that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take my hand, my thumb is on my right nostril, my ring finger is on my left nostril. And the way the alternate nostril breathing works is you breathe in through one side. So if you're closing my right nostril, I'm breathing in through my left, through my nose, and as that breath comes in, breathing out through my right side. And then we're going to switch sides. And the purpose of this is to have that flow of the breath coming in one side and out the other. If you're unable to do the alternate nostril breathing, focus in on the breath in and the breath out. We're not holding it for a specific count, but rather simply to hold the breath. So I'm going to play just a tiny bit of my sound bowl as we get settled into this breath. I'm going to invite you to breathe in. I can't do it at the same time. Thank you, Vera. Through one side and out through the other side. We're going to breathe in through that side and out through the other. Going to do 3 more cycles of breath as we slow ourselves down. Get ready for the yoga and connecting with the grounding and trust intent of today's session. Hope that just served as a moment to separate our moment before yoga and to initiate the beginning of today's yoga session. When we begin with yoga, we start with stretches. Vera, would you like to take the first one?
With pleasure. For all those of you who are seated, sit comfortably on your chair, on your mat. Just embrace the moment the way you are. And we'll start by warming up and stretching the upper part of our body. And I'll guide you with the shoulder stretches, whereas Deborah will follow then with the elbows. Then we'll go to the wrists. So this first part is really getting into the moment. We had the breathing. Now we'll try to breathe in and out and move your body together with this breathing, inhalation and exhalation. So on your inhale, drag your shoulders up as much as you can. And on the exhale, bring them to the back and down. Follow your own rhythm. Inhale up. It's not about doing too much. It's doing as much as you feel comfortable. Exhale back and down. Inhale up. Exhale to the back and down. Couple more times. Listen to your body. Listen to whether it feels comfortable. And down. And one more time, your shoulders on an inhale. Try to bring up. Feel the warmth. Exhale to the back. And down. And let's go to your elbows, Deborah. Just before Deborah starts explaining, the intention here today is really for me to show in a way, either standing or lying, the quite advanced options, because it's a big challenge for us to have a mixed group and trying to convey bring pleasure and interest and convey the same message to all of you. So we'll try to juggle the way it's possible. I'll try to stand and show the advanced options, and Deborah will comment the way she feels and with all the suggestions that she can bring you if you are in the wheelchair. So while we're in the warm up, I think, and stretches, it's still okay. We are together, and then if we split the efforts differently, we'll just try to comment and give as much more information for you to be safe as possible. Stop.
And, oh, perfect. And also note, you can do this sitting in a chair. So if you're not in a wheelchair but don't have the upper body strength or the leg strength, please feel free to grab a chair and join us. And now we're going to work on our elbows. Now for me, this is a little bit harder to do the elbow circle, so I'm going to actually do one at a time because I need to support my arm. Vera is going to show both. The purpose of this is we're just slowly breathing in, and as we rotate towards the front or the side, we breathe out. Think of it as a full cycle of breath in and out. And I know breathing can sometimes be a challenge for people with MG. So do your best to see it as a cycle of breath and movement. I'm going to switch my arms now. I'm going to do the same thing where I'm breathing in part of the way. And I'm breathing out part of the way. One more time. Breathing in. And breathing out. And with each of these poses, we're going to come back to our mountain pose at the end of this. But with each of these poses, remember to the best of your ability and what's comfortable for you. Vera, would you like to show our wrist?
We'll continue to the wrists as mentioned earlier. So I will do both sides. Open up once again, the same intention. You open, inhaling, close, exhaling. If you need to support yourself, then you do similar to what Deborah has done to the elbows. If not, you just continue waking up your joints, and it should be intentional. This part of our lesson, of our shared space today, is really to warm up and also to connect your breath with your movement. And if you find it challenging, try to change the direction. Probably it's easier. We're not balanced. Sometimes it's easy for someone to go outside, for someone to go inside. And even if you still find it challenging in this or another movements, visualize the movement. Put the intention into as if your muscles are performing this exact movement. And we know that this already makes a very big importance for your brain and for your muscles and make them work. So from the wrists, I will pass the call to Deborah, who will continue by warming up and stretching lower body.
And I will note, if you are in a wheelchair, do lock your brakes. Otherwise, you're going to wheel away. We're going to continue with the same movement of breathing in and the inhale and breathe out on the exhale with the circles. But this time, we're going to actually do hip circles. So if you're sitting, put your hands at the fold of your hips and your pelvic, and slowly, to the best of your ability, move in a circle with your breath, inhaling and exhaling. For me, because of back injuries, it's easier for me to move my upper body while still making circles in my lower body. This is all about adapting for what your needs are with the intention of the movement. We're going to do 2 more. And then Vera is going to show our ankle rolls.
I will do some standing and let Deborah show the way you can do it differently. As you simply mobilize the upper part of our body, now the hips have moved. And we go to actually knee and ankle as much as possible. Once again, just try to do what is accessible, what is comfortable, not even out of your comfort zone. Just try to inhale and open, exhale and close. Inhale, open, exhale, close. Try different direction. Probably it's easier for you. Inhale and closing. We're full of surprises, and especially warming up, just getting into our body. 2 more movements on this side. And remember, we have a second opposite ankle to move. Let's change, sit or stand comfortably and with the same intention, in and out. Take a look at how Deborah is helping her joints move better. That's all about adaptation. If it's easier, if that's what you need, please do. Listen to your body. Listen to your needs. Stay present. Inhale, exhale. Bring your feet to the floor, whether you're in a chair or in a mat. And that's where we start the main part of our lesson today, about grounding session. Deborah, the floor is yours.
Thank you. You will see I do use cue cards. I have cognitive challenges, and this will definitely help me along the way. So the first pose we're going to be working with today is called mountain pose. The grounding, mindful posture. It encourages strength, stability, and deep awareness of breath. If you're sitting, your feet are going to be stacked over your knees, stacked right over your feet. Your feet are hips width apart, just like Vera is for the standing position. We're going to have our spine aligned with our neck and our head, imagining a string pulling your head straight up in alignment, all perfectly straight to the best of your ability. You can have your hands either by your side or with your palms, your fingertips pointing to the ground, or your palms towards the front. We're going to breathe in, focusing on that breath. And as we breathe in, let our bodies fill ourselves with that air and that connection to breath, creating that grounding position. And as we exhale, let our body soften a little bit. Let release of that tension. We're going to breathe in, straightening our spine and our neck. And as we breathe out, my apologies, I must have delivery person. As we breathe out, softening our body and releasing that tension. We're going to do 2 more breaths of this, focusing in on the breath, feeling it connecting in the grounding of our sit bone or our feet to the floor or the chair below us, letting our shoulders soften in the exhale. And with the inhale, we're going to strengthen and straighten ourselves. And with the exhale, soften. And with that, we'll just sit here for a moment, focusing on that breath and that connection to our grounding space. And now I'm turning the floor back over to Vera.
And from here, we will counterbalance. So as you felt, I hope you felt, when we've been doing the mountain pose, it's all about grounding. It's all about opening up, having straight back, strong legs, being open, strong with foundations. The beauty of yoga is that after an opening pose, you can always counterbalance and try to make your body feel differently, work in a different direction. So after the mountain pose, what we will offer to you today is the forward fold. And we'll do it in several variations. So of course, for those of you who are standing, you would inhale, bringing your arms up or not, as far as you can. And on the exhale, you will try to fold forward, bringing your belly as close to the hips as possible, bending your knees, and really concentrating on this grounding position, but bringing all the toss, all your body forward.
And if you're seated,
who are sitting, please don't.
You can put a bolster and lean into that bolster as you fall down, or you can put your hands on your legs and you can fold down. And I see that there's a question about poses about strengthening your pelvis. We actually do have a couple of our poses today that are for that. But I also would like to point out, and this is something that I've learned through practicing yoga, we can engage our core in all of these positions, and that will actually help with pelvic floor, pelvic function, and our core strengthening muscles as well. But we'll have a time for some question and answers at the end, so we can provide more information as we go along.
So back to the space in our forward fold or half fold. Inhale here, and on the exhale, bring your belly as close as possible to the thighs. Close your eyes and keep your eyes open and feel the stretch in the back, in the lower back, in the upper back. Just stay grounded and concentrate on your inhale, and on every exhale, try to bring your upper body closer to your legs on every exhale. Don't go too far. Feel the moment. Inhale, and on the exhale, a little bit closer. Follow Deborah or me as much as you can. For those who are experienced, know how to do it and have no difficulties, almost up to the floor. And grab your ankles and just stay here for another 2-3 breath cycles, meaning And inhale a little bit up. On exhale, try to go low. Another inhale, exhale, lower. One more inhale, and on the exhale, lower. Slowly, progressively, come back from this posture to the next series of opening up and moving the spine. Deborah, to you.
We're going to move into our cat-cow pose. Vera is going to be showing it lying on the mat, and I'll be showing it in the wheelchair. And this one is a pose that enhances spinal flexibility, opens the chest and shoulders, and promotes mindful breathing. It's especially beneficial for improving posture and mobility, as well as overall well-being. So we're first going to start, if you're sitting in a chair, you can put your hands on your knees or the side of your chair. If you're sitting on the ground, you're going to get on your knees and your hands. Sorry, I was trying to read the chat at the same time as talking, and that doesn't work. So as you breathe in, you're going to curve your back. You're going to bring your chin towards your chest and curve your back. And as you exhale, you're going to look up, and your back is going to curve down towards the ground. Curve back up, inhale, exhale, looking up as much as you can. Inhale, and exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. With each of these poses, we encourage you to push each time just a little bit further. Try a little bit further for the curves. But if you can't, that's okay. Just take it as you can. As you might see sometimes, I may not be able to do all of the poses or fully to the fullest extent as Vera might. But when that happens, I'm visualizing the movement and I'm breathing into those movements and those muscles. I need to take a breather for a second. Vera, I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thanks for bringing this topic as well. And I think because the question started to come up while you're breathing, I also wanted to address, for example, the question on the pelvic floor. The posture that we've been just doing, that's one of those when you can, on every exhale, try to engage the pelvic floor. So that's the intentional movement, actually, that may seem very subtle in the beginning because these are not exactly the muscles that we know how to work on, that we are taught how to work on, but they're absolutely directly connected to diaphragm. So it's the pelvic diaphragm connected to the diaphragm. So on every exhalation, you visualize the movement and you suck up the muscles of the pelvic floor. And this, can work it during the yoga session. You can work it on it during the day. But here it's really just trying to visualize the movement, put the intention, and then you learn more and more to control and work on these muscles. So from here and the talking part, we'll continue after cat and cow, where we moved the spine, now to opening up the chest. Once again, as Deborah mentioned in the beginning, for many of you, breathing may be challenging. So working on opening up the chest, on increasing the capacity to breathe in and out, helps your everyday life, makes your life with better quality. So cobra pose is one of those. It's probably easier actually to show on the chair because you can then do it at every moment of the day. Sit comfortably with your feet on the ground, stable pelvis, and open up your chest. So Deborah, please, either you bring your hands back and you grab the chair. If it's really the lying on the mat posture and you're on your belly and you support yourself and try to open up the chest, wrists, elbows, belly. Inhale and open, look up. Look as far as you can and look at Deborah, who is adapting it. Please, Deborah, comment.
So there's two ways of doing it seated. You can put your hands behind you on the sides of the chair. If you're in a wheelchair, it's kind of hard to find the side. So I put my hands on the frame. My hands are shoulder width apart. I'm pushing up. I can't look up because I am fused, but I am visioning the movement of my chin looking upwards and stretching my neck as much as it will stretch.
And as we said, it's not about doing it in some fancy ideal way as we see it in the videos or in magazines. It's really about knowing which part of your body, what for are you doing this exact posture. And as soon as the intention and your attention is there, so if you're just opening up a little bit, looking in front of you and giving your chest the possibility to expand, stay here, stay present. Last inhale. Exhale. And the last one, inhale a little bit further up, feel the chest opening. And on the exhale, let yourself relax. And go to the next posture.
Our next pose is called the tree pose. And this again is finding what works for you. Traditionally, we see the tree pose often used to demonstrate yoga. And that's typically of a person standing with their arms overhead and perfect positioning with their legs balancing on one leg. That might not be the case. So I'm going to demonstrate it sitting and show a couple options sitting. Vera is going to demonstrate it standing. This particular pose is designed to cultivate balance, stability, and focus. Bringing the hands to mid-chest is another way of bringing in a mindfulness connection. If you are able to, you're more than welcome and invited to bring your hands above your head in the positioning, as Vera is demonstrating. That's not quite something I'm able to do, so I'm going to bring it to the center. With this pose, we're going to have one leg and foot in alignment with our hip, and we're going to bring our other leg up. Now you might, if you're standing, bringing all the way up to your knee, or you might find it's over your foot or on your calf as Vera is demonstrating. I find it helpful to bring it to the side of my chair or straight up to the top when my side guards are off. As we breathe in, let me get back to the side where it's easier for me. We're going to have our hands down at our pelvic area. We're going to breathe in, bringing our arms up, either over our head or into the center of our heart. And breathe out. Going to bring in another breath. Bring our hands back down as we exhale. We're going to inhale, bring our hands up. And bring our hands back down again. Exhaling. And one more time. I'm going to inhale, raise our hands, and focus on that mind-body connection. And bring our hands back down. Bring yourself back to mountain pose, feet shoulder width apart. Or you might need to take a breath for a second. And then we're going to switch legs and bring our other leg up or to the side, if I can find a place between my motor and my drink. Sorry for that dictation there. We're going to bring our hands down by our pelvic, bring our breath in, raising our hands up and either over our head or to the center of our chest. Hold this pose for a moment. Breathing out and bringing our hands back down. Breathing in. Try to see if you can hold this for just a tad bit longer than the previous time. And bring your hands back down with an exhale. One more time. Bringing your breath in. Connect yourself with the grounding of the breath all the way down through the leg and the foot that's touching the ground or the floor beneath you. And slowly exhale and bring your hands and body back to mountain pose. Vera?
And let's find our breath, because at least in the standing, this is certainly a challenging pose. Or probably it's the time and early morning. And observe also, I think the interesting part of our session today is observe, be mindful, but be kind to yourself. Feel that on one side, sometimes it feels much easier than on the other side. We are different, but that's not about comparing. It's just taking it as it comes and probably trying to do the same pose another day, and you'll see that the days when you feel better, this tree stands taller, calmer, and not even shaking with the wind, but accept and adapt, and whatever you feel, just let it come, just let it be, and continue with us. We are all here, the warriors, those who are ready to continue fighting, to continue living despite the challenges that life offers. And that's why I would like to come into the following pose, which is called the warrior. Now try probably first to guide the way you should do it on the chair. Let's try it on the right, Deborah, if you can. So
yes.
Bring one leg rooted in your 90-degree angle. So this is really here the key. Position on the pelvis. You really feel straight, stable. Try not to move. Then one knee, 90-degree angle, and try to extend the other leg as much as you can. I think Deborah is fixing the brakes as usually in these movements, trying not to hurt herself. So find this strength. Belly button in, pelvis strong. Open your chest, strong spine. And on the inhale, try to bring your arms up to your capacity. It can be here, it can be here, wherever you feel. And look, you see Deborah is doing all her best, trying now to bring your eyesight in front of you and try to look at your fingers. So inhale, and on the exhale, a little bit lower, belly button in, look forward, stay present, stay strong. If you are standing, you can appreciate that the position is quite similar. So Deborah is now using blocks that she will then help you describe and explain what are they called. But if you are standing, so that's a 90-degree angle in your front leg, extended back leg, open chest, arms up, and we stay here. Inhaling, opening up your chest. On exhale, bring yourself a little bit lower. These
So I was going to say, beautifully described, but when you're in a chair, you're not going to get the same stacking alignment as you get standing, or you risk falling out of your chair, which has not happened to me before, but it's come close. So I do recommend putting a block or something stable under your foot to keep it so that you can reach the ground, and not focusing on getting as much alignment as you can over your leg and bringing your other leg down, trying to hold that positioning and bringing the pelvic back as Vera described, but keeping in mind where the edge of that chair is. Back to you, Vera.
Thank you very much. And from here, a last inhale, and on the exhale, bring your arms down. And we'll change to the other side. Slowly take your time. So first, bend your knee 90-degree angle. And if you need to use the props, think Deborah has them all.
I did want to answer that question, Scott. It's going to be different for each of us, but if you're finding you're getting very fatigued, modify it or even reduce it or do it only for a portion of the time. I have to say, you can hear I'm out of breath, and I've been practicing this for a while. It's taken me a while to condition myself to get to where I'm starting to, where I'm able to do this. So if you're, I like that I said, if you're in the yellow, yes, if you're starting to feel in the yellow, pull back. Just focus on the breath work and breathing in and out with us, maybe moving something or tightening a muscle or two. But if you're in the yellow, bring it back. This is about experiencing movement, not putting ourselves into a flare. Hopefully that helps.
Absolutely. And I think, Deborah, as you indicated in the very beginning, there is always an option of the mountain pose, which is a pose in itself, but technically you're just there, you're grounded, you're breathing in and out. And that is always an option for each of us to come back to it, just just feel and stay with us. So I see Deborah is not already feeling very well, so we'll go to a quick version of our adapted movement in this adaptive program. It's going to be a quick warrior on the other side, with a bit of a balance.
I can come back to mountain pose. It's okay.
Excellent. So we're adapting, you see the way it is. For those who are still here, this is the last challenging pose, just to give you some hope that soon we're going to be back to stretches and breathing in and out. 90-degree angle, belly button in. Just try to follow either of us or your own feelings. Don't hurt yourself. Stay strong. Have your inner warrior waking up And knowing that it may be challenging today, it might be easy another day. Just embrace the movement, embrace the breath. One more inhale here, and on the exhale, bring your arms down. Bring yourself to the comfortable seated position.
And I want to highlight, we've mentioned this a number of times, doing it to the best of your ability without judgment, taking note of where we're at, but not judging ourselves for not being able to do it the way that Vera and I have been doing it. But honoring yourself, honoring how far you've come, and honoring how far this journey will take you in the future weeks and months to come. Get my breath. Apparently, I need my oxygen on higher. I won't hurt everybody's ears by calling to my husband to do that. But that's okay, because now we are in our closing stretches. And then we're going to have a quick meditation and some open time slots for questions. So our first stretch,
Deborah,
our stretches are, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Deborah, you have about 13 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're going to go into the last two stretches, and then we're going to open this to questions. And then if there's time, we'll do the meditation. Does that work with you, Vera?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so we're starting in mountain pose. Brakes on. We're going to raise one side up as we inhale. Bring our arm up and stretching to our left side. Don't overstretch that you pull your body out of alignment, but enough that you can feel your side of your body stretching just a little bit and softening as you exhale and bring your arm down. We're going to do one more side stretch. Bring your breathing in, bringing your arm up over your head, just slightly turning to the side, and bringing your arm back down. We're going to do the same thing with our other arm. We're going to, now this arm is harder for me to lift, so I'm going to describe it more than I'm doing. We're going to bring our arm all the way up to the best of our abilities. And I can't bring my arm much higher than this right now, so I'm just going to lean to the side a little bit and feel as much stretch as I can get in my arm. Or as far as your arm can reach. And bring it back down. And one more. Breathe in. Allow yourself to stretch to the best of your abilities. And bring your arm back down into the neutral position. Vera, would you like to take the next stretch?
Absolutely, and thank you, Deborah. And I see some questions coming. It's true that it's not about bringing your arm here and there. These were really side stretches. As much as you can feel opening up in the space between your ribs, that's really the intention. And to finish probably with the last stretch, what we'll try to do is to stretch the back muscles. And once again, you are seated in the mountain pose. You can either, if it's available, if you can do it, bring your arms. If not, you inhale here, and on the exhale, just try to bring your belly in and stretch the back. That's the movement. Make a curve. For those of you who can, bring your arms in front of you. Feel it. You should feel the shoulders, upper back, the mid back, and really stay here. Concentrate on exhalation. Inhale. Open a little bit up. Bring your arms down. Breathe. Relax. Relax. We've done a lot, and just one more time, probably in the easier version, just helping yourself a little bit intentionally, but most important, stretching the upper back. It's not about shoulders, elbows, wrists. It's just about the back. Exhale. We've been sitting a lot. We've been using our back a lot. Just let it relax and stretch. And come back to the mountain pose. And I think with two of us talking on every pose, we spent all the 15 minutes already.
We have about 7 minutes or 8 minutes left. So we'll hold off on the meditation breath because we want to open for questions that anybody might have or comments that you would like to have answered. So Scott, I think a lot of these poses can be adapted for the pool. I've done a lot of these poses lying down in bed or in the hospital as well. And I think if you look at what each pose's intention is, you can then adapt it for what you're able to do. For example, with the side stretch, understanding the intention is to stretch the side, not how far up you can reach, but the actual intention of the movement is to stretch the side so you can get to that slightly different way. Or for the cobra pose, me leaning on the wheelchair and using that to push myself up. Hopefully that helps answer that question. I haven't seen any other questions pop up, but we're here to answer any questions you might have before, let's see, any more questions?
But who knows, even if the questions pop up later, because I think we also bumped a lot of information, both physically and mentally.
Right.
Because, and pardon us, we are also trying to do as much as possible in a shorter time and kind of trying to address. Okay, there is a question about the transcript included, but I think what Deborah should mention also that she has done a great job on compiling a booklet, also with these poses, with the flow, and the way it can be adapted, really based on her own experience. I think in many even hospital stays, whereby not being able to move physically, what we tend to call move, but still continue moving by intentional visualization, and really being congratulated by many of the healthcare practitioners on how much you patients knowing doing this are helping us healthcare practitioners actually in improving and bringing your health better. So Deborah is one of those people who you should certainly reach out after if the questions come up and get more details. So we have indeed more questions. My back is less.
I did want to say, Karen, my note taker app has been running, so I'll have a transcript of everything that was shared. So I'm trying to read my TV screen.
Yes, and back pain lessened after doing this yoga.
Thank great. Wonderful.
Yeah, because we were always a little bit afraid, if we do too much and then it just brings more pressure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And yes, we have been preparing for this for quite some time. Christina is part of our team here, and she's been asking some questions and facilitating some of the discussions. And it's been, well, we've been working on this since June of last summer that we started doing this. But I did want to highlight, and I shared this with Allison, my doctors, when I told them I did adaptive yoga, they nodded their head politely. But they didn't really get it. But when my pain clinicing team came in and saw me trying to do adaptive yoga, both lying in the hospital bed and then as my physical therapy, their outlook completely changed. And honestly, I got much further in our discussions and our communications and our interactive discussion because they were seeing me doing something versus just hearing it. I think us showing ourselves doing these things helps our doctors see us in a different light. And sometimes it can help facilitate a discussion.
You had a question, Deborah, on how long have you been doing adaptive yoga?
So I started my certification program a year and a half ago. I have been adapting dance and things like that for doing in the wheelchair for probably over 20 years now. But this particular adaptive yoga series only started about a year and a half ago. And I know this is a comment about my shirt. This is something that part of the image I traced from the booklet images that we will have, and then part of it, I drew my own wheelchair and zebra leggings because it's rare disease.
And then I think there was a last one, probably some Marisol was mentioning that she's doing the Bikram yoga, and it's excellent. I mean, if really the hit and you don't feel that it's too much and overwhelming, and you're still able to do the Bikram, whatever form of yoga and whatever adaptation to the current state of health, your current abilities, and the current need of your mind and soul, that's what important as well. If you feel that it really helps, that's great. That's a challenging one. Allison's back, so this probably means that we should soon.
No, this was wonderful, and Vera, thank you for being up in the middle of the night to participate. Deborah, thank you for giving your time to our organization and showing us, you know, all of what people really can do. This is amazing. So we will have this video up on our YouTube, hopefully within the next day or two.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye.